You guys are muted.
All right, so we have the regular meeting September 23rd, 2020. Let's also have a moment of silence for reflection, meditation, and prayer. Okay. All right, announcements and correspondences. Sue, do you have any announcements or correspondences for today?
I had a scout from Troop 259 text me. He's looking for a project for his Eagle Scout. So I'll be working with him and Cassie on something for him.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. We talked to me, well, I'll just tell you now, one of the project ideas, and then we need to talk to Cassie about this. We were thinking before the trail that goes between the playground equipment and the community center, that walking path, was putting up some posts, maybe 3 or 4 on each side with plaques on them, like a wooden board that tells the history of Brimfield. So like a history walking trail, and I can meet with you and Cassie and him and talk a little more in detail about it.
Okay.
That could be a fun project, a little bit of research of the history of Brimfield, and then would tell the story from like an adult, more in-depth perspective and a child's perspective on the other side.
Okay. Cassie did give me 3 suggestions that I went ahead and messaged to him to give him some ideas, but
Okay.
I'll give this to him too.
Well, what we're trying to do is to maybe encourage people to realize that that playground's there and give them more avenues to get to it. You know, 'cause
Right.
it's a great, exciting piece for the township, and we need to focus on getting people to it.
Right. Yeah, we're getting some families down there, but we want to make sure there's a path from it to the community
Right.
center for when the community center reopens.
So when some little kids drive their parents crazy, they can tell them to
Go down to the
go to the
playground.
playground.
Yeah.
And so we do got to get that fence put up.
Yeah, and I was going to talk about that today under Parks and Rec.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
any other announcements or correspondences? Sue? Was that
No,
no?
that's all.
Mike?
No, but what we're talking about, the Eagle Scouts.
Yep.
I mean, this is just, I mean, we can talk about it later, but I'd really like Cassie to really be involved with it, because some of these projects they do just don't go anywhere.
That's right.
We need projects with meat and potato that'll actually help the final, the final plan.
Okay.
Right.
Very good.
All right. I don't have any today. So I'll move us into meeting guests. There are no scheduled meeting guests. Meeting minutes. I need a motion to accept the September 9th, 2020 meeting minutes.
So moved.
And I will second that.
You were absent from that meeting.
Okay.
So I will second that one because you'll have to abstain.
Yep.
So then roll call
That's right.
Mike,
I have to abstain.
Nick,
here. Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Okay, motion passes to accept meeting minutes. We also need a motion for the cancellation of this morning's public hearings. So I will make a motion to cancel the 7 a.m. and the 7:30 a.m. public hearings per Ohio Revised Code. Need a second for that for discussion.
Okay, I'll second for discussion.
So we had scheduled public hearings for the demolition of some properties. Mike Ladd looked into that, and we did not need to hold those hearings, so we canceled those this morning. Notifications were been made, but they were in the meeting minutes as Sue highlighted this morning, so we wanted to make sure we got that covered. So roll call vote to cancel those meetings.
Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
All right. Craig, is there a way to change the view on the computer so that we actually see everybody?
See everybody.
We used to see like all the department heads. Ah, there we go.
When they disappear when they don't talk.
Okay, I just want to be able to
If
see
she
them when
moved
they
her
talk.
mouse, she's back on.
Okay.
Their video cameras are turned off anyways.
Oh, okay. All right. It looked different for some reason. That's all. Because now we're moving into agenda. I need to know, is there any agenda additions that need to be placed before we make a motion? Craig, no changes. Sue, any changes?
No.
Mike, do you have any changes?
No.
Other department heads, any changes?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay, I will have one amendment to it or two. One under administration. We'll have point number 1. This is going to be court case number 92017. C as in Charles, V as in Victor, 00226. And this will be the Brian Ames case. We need a motion on that case this morning.
So move.
I will also need an addition under Parks and Rec. We were going to talk about fencing. All right. So I need a motion. Sue move to accept the agenda with the additions. I need a second. I will second that. Any discussion? Okay, roll call to accept the agenda.
Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
All right, purchase orders. I need a motion to accept the purchase orders.
We'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, roll call.
Mike,
Yes,
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
Need a motion for the warrants.
I will make that motion. And approve and sign them.
I will second that. Roll call.
Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
All right, any public comments or questions that came into anybody?
I've had lots of discussions this week, but nothing worth mentioning.
Yeah, I haven't seen much. I haven't gotten many calls. I had one phone call from somebody about the fire station expansion. I left her a voicemail. She hasn't called me back, so nothing to report on
I
that.
did have a few very positive comments on the fire station. I told Greg about them. Both elder couples.
Okay. Perfect. All right, hearing none. Is there any safety concerns before we move into the business portion of our meeting? All right, hearing none. Police departments. And I believe Captain Atkins is on with us today, so the floor is yours, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so you guys should have all got a copy of the report, but going over some of the points, we are at 12,637 calls for service and 192 arrests as of yesterday. When looking at annual calls of service from January to August, we're still up about 1,000 calls. And when we get to the end of September, I still think that we'll be up at least 1,000 calls over this time last year. Some of the information for the board to date, we've had no positive COVID in the Brimfield Police Department, nor have we had anyone tested or had any scares. So hopefully that continues. Last board meeting, the board approved the purchase of the UAV. We are still waiting on the UAV to come in. The company thought they had it in stock, but they had an inventory glitch, and they are waiting for the supplier. The distributor is waiting for it to come in. Any minute we should have it. We do have some of the accessories we're going to use for it, but we're still in a holding pattern for the UAV unit, and we'll keep you updated when we do have it and it is operational. The chief asked me to do some follow-up on the conversation about transient vendors and solicitor permits. He has reached out to the prosecutor's office, and he's still waiting on a response. So he talked to someone new as of September 15th, but we still don't have an answer on how exactly we can handle that, or if the township has any power in enforcing people who violate our standard for having a solicitor permit.
Yeah, but I thought, Chris, I don't want to interrupt you, but I thought we went through this all and we did get an opinion and we were allowed to do it back with the previous chief.
Well, if you remember, we had the barking dog house on Talmadge Road, and
Right.
we were enforcing that by writing citations under a 500 section, and we probably wrote 100 of them for the barking dogs, which Nick, I don't know if you remember, it was a residential house that was like a dog sanctuary, which they were, trying to take care of dogs,
Right.
house dogs, but this house was hundreds of dogs and it was constant barking. Well, we started writing citations for that under some legal advice, and they got all found unconstitutional. We were told that we couldn't write, because we weren't writing under a barking dog because there is no Ohio Revised Code for barking dogs. So we were writing under a 500 section that says townships can do certain things, but it got found unconstitutional and they all got tossed. So right now, that would be the only way I know of we could write it, but we know now that we can't write under that. So we need a legal ruling of some sort to tell us, yes, you can, and what subsection you actually write under, because the Ohio Revised Code does not have a violation of vendor or solicitor permits. So
Okay.
legal is still trying to figure out how we can enforce it.
So I wonder if limited home rule this would be one of the pieces.
Well, I think that's been some of the discussion, is that limited home rule does help us in that, because now we can start writing some more local ordinances ourselves. And that's where our hands are kind of tied at this point.
Right.
Yeah, limited home rule allows us to have some ordinances, but there's still some ordinances that were specifically forbidden. So the one example would be the firing of firearms in a township is one of the rules that ORC says you cannot. Township cannot enact an ordinance against. Even if we were limited home rule, we still wouldn't be able to make a law against that.
Right.
There's a very small list of things that we can't, under limited home rule, create ordinances against.
The sounds of it, what I remember is it mirrors a lot of what the cities can do.
Yeah, and basically the way it was explained in the one class I attended was the ORC is very specific when it says townships can't. Like, it says townships cannot govern the shooting of firearms on the property. The word township is actually in that ORC section. That's where those are the ones that we could not work
Right.
through.
It's almost like there isn't a list of cans. So if it isn't in the list of cannots, you can have an ordinance against it, unless it specifically says you can't.
Correct.
I think we gotta push this winter.
Yeah.
When will we have the census numbers then?
It's going to be a while yet for census, because they extended the census deadline, which put a cheap plug in there right now. Brimfield residents, please get your census done. We need those numbers. It's important for funding, but it's also important because we're competing against Suffield to get the most people turned in. So we're probably looking middle to end of next year, probably.
And that's what
That's
will
crazy.
determine some things for us.
Right.
15,000, right? Is
Yeah,
that
we need
what it is?
15,000.
Do you know what that date is, that it has been extended
I keep
to?
I need to pull it up again. I think it was the middle of October right now.
Okay.
October 15th.
That's close enough.
All right, Chris, sorry about that. Go ahead. Floor's back to you.
The last item of information I have for the board is I think Chief let you know that we ran a joint interdiction detail with the State Highway Patrol and had some assistance from the Portage County Sheriff's Office over the weekend. Our target area was State Route 43 and 18, specifically with the hotels. Since COVID hit, we've seen an increase in criminal activity at the hotels, and we've been really trying to make a dent and maybe deter some people from coming here. So we did this interdiction detail pretty much just to make a presence in the area, try and scare some people out of here, and obviously enforce some of the laws that are being broken there. What we are limited on is that most jails are not accepting anyone. So most agencies are not picking up warrants. So we could run into people up there. Probably 10 people right now have warrants and no one will take them. So we can't serve them. So we ran this interdiction detail to try and do some deterrence for the weekend. I don't have the complete stats, so I don't have all the State Highway Patrol stats, but our department alone, we had 30 traffic stops. We had one recovery of methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia, a couple driving under suspension citations, and one underage alcohol consumption citation. So for the few people that we did have working in that detail, which included people who were just normally working shift and when not on calls, that was pretty productive for us. State Patrol had more people out than us, so I assume their numbers are greatly higher than ours. And other than that, I don't have anything, and I have no requests for board approval.
All right. Any other questions for the police department today? All right. Not. Thank you. I appreciate the report this morning. All right, fire department.
Just a couple updates from the fire department. Remember, our community drive and dine will be Thursday, October 1st, 3 to 6 p.m. I have put an email out to all department heads and have got response on that to be included in that. I will be sending out more information through Facebook on the routes and reminders on that. So we're expecting a good crowd. What we were able to do, and I want to put it out there right away, is pretty much 90% of what we will do that day has been donated already. So we're looking to get 100%, but we're very close to having all donations through some big companies around here. So
So
it will truly be a free event.
you're gonna end it at 400 people, right? Is that what you?
End it?
Yeah.
No, we were.
How much food are you gonna have?
We should have, through what Dumas has donated with the sausage, 450 sausages and 400 hot dogs right now. So
Okay.
wherever that gets us.
And so you're putting everything in to-go boxes and?
Yeah, we'll package those. We'll have a sausage or hot dog dinner with a bag of chips. So we did it that way to keep it moving because we just don't want to get a crowd backed up. So, yeah.
For the points of interest
Right.
along the trip, who do we contact and who would we contact to see if we would be eligible to set up a table or whatever? Oh, all
Yep.
right, I'll see you.
Yep, and I encourage if anybody wants to do any of that, I'm open to anything. It is a community event.
Okay.
All I request is that it is not a slow down thing where we're holding up the line.
It's just a
So
thing
if
where
it's
you
new
would have some,
information,
you would
please
have
move along.
information to
Yeah.
pack out.
Yeah,
Okay,
ask me a quick question and keep moving. So,
Okay.
because we just don't know.
So how many chips?
Well, I
Oh, you said
requested 400.
Okay, because you said 800.
Well, I requested 400, but I can get more from Myers that's
Okay.
donated, so I don't know
Okay.
how that falls for you. But that's the update. Any other questions to that?
No, and we're not doing a rain date, right? We're doing it rain or
No,
shine.
that's the nice thing through the bays. If we do have vendor tables that are outside and it rains, we'll move everything inside. So you'll be in your car, you won't get out of your car, rain or shine.
So the trustees will be here?
Yep.
Okay.
Everybody will be here inside. I've had some volunteer requests and I'm good with that, but
Or you're gonna keep it limited to?
yeah, we will follow all compliances and masks and all that stuff. So,
So what time do you want us up here?
2:30 that day.
Okay.
For volunteers. Most of the firemen will have it all set up. Unlike our senior luncheon, really,
How much?
there won't be near as much setup. So
Yeah, 'cause
we'll
usually
have,
all
we'll
those
have a
tables and chairs.
yeah, I have tables and chairs and tents, and I won't have to do any of that.
So they're gonna get ahead on the sausages and
Yep.
stuff, so we can just follow
Yeah,
them
Ron
through?
has a plan on all that stuff. Chef Ron. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited. I think this will be a good event. So.
yeah, so it's an update, and we'll be able to just pass out some information to people
You know,
and
I
give them
don't
a
I
free
don't know if
dinner.
this would help. I got a heating cabinet at either the party center or the restaurant that you can get up to 165 degrees.
We may need it. We plan on pre-cooking stuff in the
Well, this
oven,
is just
keeping it warm. and
this is just a
keeping stuff-
holding cabinet,
We may need it.
but they'll have to get it. It's a big one, and they'll just have to have it back down.
I am letting Ron take care of all the food, so I'll
Okay,
pass
I'll
it
chat
along
with
to him.
Ron later.
Okay,
Or tell him to give me a call if he's
Okay.
interested.
all right, sounds good. Moving on to that, beyond that, we are running our fire and admin building November election levy. So just want to remind people of that. We're asking for your support, and you have the right to vote whatever way you want, so feel free, but it will be on the election. So just there will be more information coming on that.
Speaking of the election, October the 6th is the first day that the Board of Elections is open where people can go in and vote.
Okay, I know that I received stuff in the mail about it, if you don't want to come in, so I think everybody should have the option and should still vote.
Yeah, absentee ballots,
But
requests for absentee ballots have been sent to
Yeah.
every
Mhm.
homeowner, so you should have that opportunity.
and I think I'm going to take advantage of it myself. It's easy, so.
Great.
That's all I have for I guess one more thing, we did do our training house, burns. We didn't actually burn, but that went very well with us in Rootstown.
How are the new firefighters
Good.
acclimating to the?
Good. No, they're doing great. We had a lot of people show up between the two departments and got a lot of good training.
You did it with Rootstown?
I did it with them, and it turned out very well.
Well, even though you said you didn't really actually burn, what kind of things did the fire department guys do?
So what we did do is we purchased a smoke machine that we needed, and we were able, that smoke machine was pumped smoke out of that house like a full fire. I mean, you couldn't see, you know, a foot in front of your face. So that worked very well for simulation, but we were able to do a lot of rescue scenarios for someone stuck on a second floor. We were able to do hose movement, because there is a method to wrap around stairwells and stuff like that. We were able to do basement breaches where in this particular house we had glass block. We had to knock that out, put a ladder down inside, to do a rescue of a
So
basement.
you could do demolition of the houses?
Yeah, they allowed us, we did, something you don't think about, but you could be trapped in a room, and we did a little fun scenario where we said, you have no door, you have no windows, get out. So they had to chop holes through the walls to get out. I mean, it could happen. So,
Good.
so, you know, and once you get a hole in the wall, there's studs. So if you're a big guy, it takes a little bit of effort to
Especially with
get
all that
through,
stuff.
so. Yeah, so a lot of good training on that. Vertical ventilation, which means cutting the holes in the roof, you know, a safe way to stand on a roof and not fall off and still be able to do that kind of stuff. So a lot of good training.
Good.
And I will follow up with Rich Costin and D Hawk on thank yous with that. I know the police were in there too.
Have they demolished those houses now, or are they still?
They have not. I know they wanted us out on the 18th because they have a contract for a scrapper to come in and strip siding and everything off. So they wanted us out of the way, which was fine. That worked out great for us. And that's all I have.
Okay. So that will move us into administration.
Okay, I have a couple things for approval on that. We need approval for a new fund, 2198, and this fund line item will be for the CARES Act funds that I'll talk about next.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to create fund line 2198, reference the CARES funds.
Second.
All right, any questions on that? I believe this is the line item we need in order to hold the funds
Right.
and then pay those back to other line
Now, these will
items.
be for both funds? We have one?
So all the CARES Act money will
Right.
go in here and then we can pay back. So let's say
Because
David
Janet
bought.
said we would have two. We have
Yeah,
one first and then.
That'll
the
be
second.
next. I'll
Okay,
talk
yeah.
about that
So,
second.
all right, so can we get a roll call vote on the creation of the fund line?
Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
So I believe this is how we have to do it, but it is a good way to do it because we'll have an actual line with that amount of money. And if we get a third or fourth draw, it goes into that line item. So
Right. And I think this will make auditing easier too.
Yeah,
Because
we'll
these
be
are
able to-
federal funds and we're gonna get audited.
Right, we'll be able to look at that line item specifically and say CARES funds. So with that being said, we actually are on the second draw of the CARES funds. We will get a check cut this Friday, which will amount to $113,538.65. I think we were all anticipating that we were gonna get around that 7.5. So there is actually more money coming.
Right,
Wow.
and keep in mind too, so we had the Portage County Township Association meeting on last Friday night virtually. And so this is the 75,000 we thought we were gonna get was actually the second drop of money.
Mhm.
And there is a third, possibly fourth drop coming. The state of Ohio is sitting on $650 million still to disperse to local governments. The problem is that they have it in a line item, but they don't have the physical cash to do it right now. So they're trying to figure out how they can get the cash to then send it to the county so then we can get our money, which is gonna require the opening of the rainy day fund most likely.
Okay.
So there's more money to come potentially for us too, if the governor's office can find a way to move. the
While you're
cash.
talking about more money, I mean, you mentioned to me about the workers' comp. So Brimfield should also be getting.
Yeah, there's a vote at the end of this month for the second disbursement of returning all workers' comp premiums for 2019. So that would be another.
So they've had one vote already?
Yes, I had one in the springtime for the 2018 premiums. Now we're looking at 2019 premiums.
So that'd be a nice little check for, and I just wonder how John's gonna disperse it. Will it be dispersed per, say the 5, there's 5 workers and, that's how it
I
should be
think,
dispersed.
well, I think the general fund typically pays workers' comp right now.
Is that how it is, or does John
Yeah.
take a little bit out of
It
everything?
had been, it was the general fund.
John doesn't take it out of per department?
General fund.
Okay, good.
With that being said, going back to the CARES Act, the problem we were running into is cash on hand. Most grants we have to pay for up front and get reimbursed. We will have this check. So
Right.
that makes it easier for us fiscally.
But we still can recoup to the previous purchases that we've done.
Yes, it's, there's gonna be, it's a little complicated because we've
Yeah.
already paid for those and then we gotta
But if-
resubmit or something.
But if it's similar to that PPP, which, the same methodology, if we don't use it, do we have to return it?
Yes.
Yes, so there is options, the money is for us, there is options to help township area stuff if there's leftover funds, and I will
Okay.
follow up with that.
Could that be directed towards the new fire station if it goes through with better,
I don't know.
that'd be something to look into.
Well, we have to be careful too, because if we don't spend it or we don't sub-grant it, then we have to give it back to the county. Then the municipalities who spent their 100% of their funds can then grab for those additional leftover
But what I'm
funds.
saying, if we are, building a building, couldn't we use some of it towards COVID?
I think,
Well, the problem though with the new building, and this is where I think the public gets confused on why we're asking for the levy at the price point, is we cannot, to get the loan, we have to get the loan in a bond at 100% because they need the funds to be guaranteed. So diverting money or moving money from any of our accounts to drop into the fire
Yeah.
admin build doesn't work because it's just not the financial avenue that exists for the building of a new building.
A
So
simple-
these funds have to be used. in
a
different
simple way to say it is the loan company wants a guarantee.
Oh, yeah.
A
I
bond is
understand
the
that.
guarantee.
Right.
Yeah,
They
so there's
They won't
no,
take us by our word saying, yeah, in 10 years we'll have this.
But you gotta
They're not gonna
figure
take
some
that.
ways out to use this money.
Oh, we will.
Yeah.
We will.
well, there's a lot of opportunities here. I mean, in tech is a big piece. I know the police department needs some tech, fire department needs some equipment. We need some tech in this room here. So there's all these little pieces that exist. We're waiting to see what that amount of money.
Well, I
is
know,
gonna
and
be.
you probably won't know for a while because that PPP, they keep changing it.
Right. Well, and the deadline for this was October 15th. They're supposed to vote at the State House. I haven't gotten the legislative update yet, but they're supposed to extend the deadline to November 15th for the allocation of the funds. So that really gives us another month to work with.
So going back here, I do need approval for that amount at this time.
So I'll make a motion to approve the use of the CARES Act from the state of Ohio in the amount of $113,538.65.
I will second that.
So then what we need to do is, because this is bigger than the 75,000 we originally had anticipated, we need to go back to that list of approval, Craig, and
Yeah.
make sure every department kind of gets in there. Chris, I think if you're still on the line, I know the PD was looking for some cruiser laptops as part of this too. So get with Craig and let's figure out how we can kind of disperse that money out to see how many we need and how much Craig needs for fire gear, and then Dave, whatever additional supplies we need down there too. So try to divvy it up as fair as possible.
Parks,
Well, there's a certain list, so we can't just
Right.
use it on anything, but we
and
can
stuff
work
in the
some pieces.
community center, who knows?
Right,
Just be creative.
right. So Craig, I'm kind of put you on
Yep.
point with that and then get with everybody and get a list together and let me know where we stand.
Yeah. Again, I think the problem we're running into is we have to spend out of pocket. Well, now we don't. By next
Right.
week, we should have a check that we can cash.
Right, yeah, so if we could have a
That's
list
the
and
nice
see
way.
how close we are to that 113 with that list.
Well, we anticipated 75, so now we got a little bit more to work with.
A little bit?
It can go quick. So,
All right, so can I get a roll
yeah.
call vote for the use of those funds?
Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes,
with that being said, then a letter will be sent with a resolution copy after the minutes are typed, and John just needs to sign it.
And who's gonna send that letter? You gotta make sure it gets put
Kirsten.
out.
We're counting on you.
I can handle it. I got it.
So I guess I'm saying that because typically you might sign something for you today. We got to get the minutes typed first.
You need signatures from us to get that letter over to them, or is it
It's
just?
just John.
All right,
John will be back Monday, right?
If not Monday, I think, maybe, I think he's coming in tomorrow to sign checks, so
Okay, good.
I'll be able to sign that.
That is all I had.
All right, under admin, we also had, let's start with number one, let's start with the case number 92017 CV00226. This is the case of Brian Ames versus Brimfield Township. This is the second complaint that was filed, and this involved allegations of several executive sessions that Mr. Ames claimed were inappropriate, which included meetings with attorneys or meetings to discuss pending litigation without an attorney present. Quick recap for everybody, for the trustees, so we know where we stand on this. There was another case that Mr. Ames had. It went through the court system. It ended up before the Supreme Court. They did not accept jurisdiction on it, which means it went back to the lower court, and they found in favor of Mr. Ames with an injunction, which we've already settled. This case now went before the Supreme Court also, and they've declined jurisdiction on this matter as well, which means it could go back to the lower courts, which is going to be sitting with that judgment in Brian Ames' favor. However, Mr. Ames has reached out through our attorney firm, through the Baker firm who was representing us in this case, and he said that he's willing to, if the township is willing to pay court costs, he will dismiss the case. So what does this mean? If it went before the Court of Appeals again, and he was granted that injunction like he was in the previous case, we'd have to still pay the court fees, plus we would have to pay on top of that injunction costs, and injunctions are about $500 per count. There's multiple counts here. So basically he's saying, listen, waive the injunction costs because that's the money that he would make on the case. He said, cover my court costs, which we'd have to cover anyways, and he'll just dismiss the case. But to do that, Baker firm needs from us a verbal, yes, we will do that in a motion.
Okay, so you're gonna make a motion?
So I'd like to make a motion in the positive to accept Mr. Ames's offer to dismiss the case with Brimfield Township paying the court costs.
I would like to second that.
All right, and then for discussion, I'll start with, yeah, I think, you know, we've, now that we've met with Brian Ames and talked to him, I've talked to him outside of here too. He's just trying to make sure we follow the rules. I think we learned a lot of valuable pieces from Mr. Ames. We were able to get some paperwork in place. And I think, you know, we learned from this, and we're not immune to making mistakes. I mean, this is, we try our hardest as trustees to learn this. I had to play catch up. This was before I was in office, but, you know, looking at the previous court records, it was things that, you know, I think at the time seemed like the best decision. We just didn't have all the facts, and Mr. Ames viewed it differently, and the courts agreed with him. So I appreciate him bringing it forward to us, and I'm happy that we're able to fix it. And I think we've learned from this, and hopefully other communities have learned from this piece too, because I know there's multiple other cases.
You know, I for one thought Brian was an antagonist to this whole thing, but after meeting him, I realized that he has democracy on his plate. And, you know, we'd be crazy to argue with him. I mean, we would made a mistake.
Right.
And
that's
so
and you can see here,
we're paying him for teaching us the right way to do.
Right.
You know, and
he's not in it for the money, right? Obviously,
Right.
if he was in it for the money, he wouldn't have offered, because he's losing out all of his injunction costs for every count. He said, listen, I don't want the money. I just want things to go right.
Brian's a good guy. I mean, he's just trying to get it done the way it should be done. And we've learned.
Right.
So I agree.
Yeah. So I
What do
think,
you think, sir?
I'm okay with it.
okay, so this will put this case behind us, and I think that would clean up.
Yeah, go
all that.
forward.
So, all right, so can I get a roll call vote on that court case?
Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
All right, I will send an email off to Andrea at the Baker firm today, let her know to get in contact with Mr. Ames so that we can get that case dismissed. All right, the only other thing that doesn't have any motions on it, just an update. We did have Portage County Township Association virtual meeting last Friday night. We had several presenters. Anthony Gonzalez was there, Randy Pleitz, Heidi from the Ohio Township Association, and Joe Delorio from the Portage County Health District giving us updates. The biggest thing we got out of it was one, there's more CARES Act money that should be coming to us. Anthony Gonzalez indicated that, you know, the feds have given the money if the holdup is in the state. And Randy acknowledged that it is in the state. We're waiting on the governor's office to find a way to loosen up cash to get to us. The second big thing is sub-granting. And so this is another piece we can think about, especially if we get another disbursement of money. Any of the funds we get can be sub-granted to assist other entities within Brimfield Township. So out of that 113,000, if there was 10,000 left that we didn't use, instead of losing it, we could sub-grant it to the school district, meaning that they could use it to help with their response to COVID. We could use it to help fire districts. We don't have a fire district here, but if we had a fire district, you could sub-grant to fire districts. You could even sub-grant to businesses to assist them in response to COVID.
Can you sub-grant to any nonprofits?
Potentially to nonprofits also.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so we're looking into that. There's actually going to be a webinar on this on Friday. I believe Craig is going to attend that webinar to find all the details. It does get a little more tricky when you get into sub-granting, but it's a potential piece where we might be able to build some relationships and help those, especially if we get another disbursement of CARES Act fund. So that were the big pieces from that meeting on Friday. Our next meeting will be in December. It's going to be another virtual meeting. It will be December 11th. It's going to be a Friday night. It's done on Zoom, so you can do it from your home, on your phone, or on your computer. I believe it is December 11th, and I'll have information coming out on that here in the next few weeks. Okay. Anything else under admin?
Sounds good.
All right, hearing none, we'll go into zoning and economic development. Mike Ladd, the floor is yours.
Thank you. First and foremost, I'd like to request a trustee hearing on 1435 Talmadge Road regarding the unsafe structure. They have received notice from us and they are requesting a hearing. And I was hoping we could do that at our next, just prior to our next trustee meeting.
Who's the owner?
William Hankins.
That's one by Pizzutis.
This is 1435 Talmadge is over by Alter Care.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
All right, so I will make a motion to set a public hearing for 1435 Talmadge Road regarding unsafe structures for October 7th at 7:30 a.m. Need a second for discussion.
I will second.
Does 7:30 a.m. work for everybody since we only have one hearing? We could just do it first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, we got this. So we're discussion now. He has a demolition order from the county, right? Or
So that demolition would be that would come from us. It's a unsafe structure.
the county found multiple problems.
Correct. And he wants to, from his emails that he's given me as early as yesterday, he wants to rebuild the structure and make it safe. So he's trying to obtain information from the Portage County Building Department to see what he needs to do to make the structure safe again.
Okay.
So we have to he gets an opportunity to come before us and we make a determination based on the facts that he provides us if we give him an
All right.
extension.
Because the only reason this is happening now is because we've turned up the heat.
Right. So, but we have to give him a public hearing where he can present those facts and then we determine at that point how it moves.
But we won't go above what Portage County has. I mean, because they're
Right.
So,
But he has to have a plan on how to deal
Right.
with all that.
Okay.
We have to, but it's in our jurisdiction, so we had to issue the demolition order.
Okay.
Okay. Roll call for the meeting on the 7th.
Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Thank you. Next thing I have is request approval from Brimfield Township, the TIRC meeting minutes from September 9th, 2020. This was all the TIF information and you should have all the information in front of you.
Okay, yeah. So I'll make a motion to accept the TIRC annual report from September 9th, 2020.
Second.
Is there any questions on this annual report? Hearing no questions, roll call vote?
Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes,
Sue,
Yes,
motion passes.
Thank you. Menards is still planning on opening October. Virtual zoning commission meeting is October 8th at 7 o'clock. Our virtual Board of Zoning Appeals hearing is October 21st at 7 p.m. Sunny Hill Villas is still under construction, going well. Comprehensive land use plan, Todd has just finished up the community survey. He will be part of the drive-through event as well, and we'll be passing out information on that. Hickory Creek PRD was approved by the BZA at our last meeting and is now on the list for regional planning.
Now, who's Hickory Creek? Is that?
It was previously approved as Sugar Maples phase, the next phase of Sugar Maples, but now a new developer's in there and they are going with a mixture of custom built homes and Ryan. But the Ryan homes that were approved has architectural features that we made, mandatory through the BZA with brick, stone. It's going to be very similar to Sugar Maples. So I think it looks good. From the plans, it looks really good.
Okay.
Redwood at High Point Hills is submitted for zoning certificate. There's a lot of them. There's over 100. So I'm going through there one by one. I'm hoping to get the fees this year. If not, it'll be early next year for all of those. Permit fee report to date right now, the total fees are what we collected is $119,685. So we're doing good. Last year was at 149. We're only 30,000 below what we did last year for the entire year. So we're still doing very good.
Okay, hey, Mike, while we're talking to you, this board, I just had one thing and I brought it up to Nick at one point. As these store openings start, having the grand openings and stuff, it's my opinion as one trustee that, when we were at the Myers opening, Nick and I are standing there and they have the mayor of Talmadge speak in Brimfield. And I think that's BS. I want from now on, as long as this board agrees, is that the chairman of the board will lead that. And then if we want Dave from Talmadge to talk, we'll let him talk. But come on, we're the ones providing safety forces and everything. This is not Talmadge. This is Brimfield, for God's sake. I don't want the mayor to walk up there like he's in charge of Brimfield. So can you please be firmly clear with these guys that Nick, or whoever the chairman of the board is, will be one that speaks at these events?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I think when we were there, I don't think there was anybody set to speak. I think they.
He was set to speak. He was ready.
Yeah.
We just get brushed aside. Nick and I went and grabbed our dustpans and brooms and we went back to sweeping while the mayor took all the spotlight. So come on, this is Brimfield Township. It's not Talmadge.
Right. Well, and it's more than just being in the spotlight. It's more about, we want people to recognize that it is Brimfield that they're in. We don't want it to be considered the Talmadge properties or the Kent properties. I think that was a big problem with the Walmart when it came in. It was the Walmart of Kent, and
Nick,
Kent zip code, but it's
mentioned to me that he went up to that gas station that Myers having, and there's a beautiful mural on the wall that says what, Brimfield Township?
Yeah, it says Brimfield Myers or something like that, but it's a nice sketched piece, stonework that's in the side of it. It's definitely worth going up and taking a look at. So at least they recognize that. We just want people, we're just trying to build that marketing piece of Brimfield Township as we.
Right, and so, because I know you're the first person they talk to, so could you please reinforce them that they understand it's Brimfield Township?
Absolutely.
Not Kent, not Talmadge.
And I think they got the message. I think when it was on Channel 8 and all the grand opening that I seen throughout on TV, it was all Brimfield. So, which was
I had to reach out to what just opened, not the Dollar Tree. What's the dollar place that opened over there? Five Below. They did a bunch of advertising on Facebook for the grand opening, and they said, "Hey, we're at the new Talmadge Five Below." And so I got a hold of their media and said, you're in Brimfield, right? And she's like, oh, we thought it was Talmadge.
Yeah.
So Mike,
Five Below was not very.
You really got to talk to these people.
Five Below was not very responsive throughout their grand opening at all with us. So,
Right.
but I'm planning
Well,
on.
they probably just had the mayor down.
Yeah. I think they didn't have us down, so nobody reached out to us after occupancy. So, but Menards, I think will go well.
Okay. For the BZA, is Sheets on that agenda yet? Because I know I'm going to get more questions from people.
No, they're not, and I'm going to be closing off for my applications here shortly. I mean, to be and post in the paper for both Zoning Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals and get the 10-day notice in there, I'm going to have to close it off this week. So if I don't get anything by the end of the week, then they will be pushed to the November meeting if they're playing.
Okay.
I mean, what I gather, they were pretty amazed at the amount of pushback from this.
Yeah, and we're putting everything online. We're going to give everything to Rochelle. Every letter that we get that's for it or against it, we're posting so that people could look at them and read them.
Yeah, just so you know, I did have a meeting with Tom Weesey for about an hour and a half, and he understands that the trustees, we really have nothing to do with this. It's your department that handles this. So,
Well, and it's not even mine. It's the Board of Zoning Appeals.
right. You know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. It's and he's aware of that, and I know that their attorneys for Sheets has reached out to Mark Adetti on several issues already, and we'll see if they apply.
Okay. Lastly, I know Friday is the deadline for applications for your secretary position over there. So how's that search going? You getting a lot of applications at this point?
Yeah, there's hundreds right now. So, yeah, I'm going through. There's some that are very qualified that will be calling, and there's others that have no relevant experience at all for it. So
Okay. Just for you and Craig, I want to expedite this. So if we could possibly try to review these and start scheduling interviews. And I mean, I know it's a stretch to say next trustee meeting to have something before us, but potentially having something before us in 2 weeks, ready for hire would be amazing.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Mike yet, but I plan on doing stuff next week.
Yeah, just only because I know Mike's going to start drowning over there. I mean, there's just so much happening, especially because you got this redwood with 100 applications. That paperwork's going to pile up fast on them, so we got to get some relief in there as fast as possible.
yeah, there's a lot of paperwork. You're looking at the fees at 119,000, and most of those were residential this year. So the fees aren't high for residential, so there's quite a lot of paperwork and computer work behind that.
Right. All right. Any other questions for Mike?
Any more names you want to drop that might be coming to Brimfield?
As far as businesses,
Retail, commercial.
yeah, same things right now. I mean, we have Redwood coming, which would be commercial. They have over 100 units of that. That is also going into the JED.
Then the car wash.
We have the King's Car Wash. We have the Sunnybrook Apartments, which are under construction right now.
Yeah.
And then we have multiple ones in the works that I can't, talk about right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like we're having an exciting 2021 at this pace too. So
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna break all records this year as far as fees, and I think next year is gonna be the same way it looks.
well, that's big. That helps us through the COVID financial impact. I think this will help keep us afloat a little bit.
Right. As well
All right,
as you'll see some of the TIF work that Mark's working on, and we're working on a couple of commercial properties to start getting that going. That was one of our goals this year, and I think we'll be able to achieve that.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your report. We will move on to road department. Dave is in the room with us today. Dave. The floor is yours.
Morning, everybody. I just want to let you know, we've been doing some dura patching, doing a little bit of ditch work, and a lot of road mowing. We're trying to catch back up on that. One thing I forgot to put on my report, starting Monday, the 28th, the culvert projects will probably start tentatively. They're going to start at Selnick Road. So that road will be closed for about 5 to 6 days. And then they'll move right from there to Malloy.
Will it be closed, or can emergency traffic get
No,
through?
it'll be completely closed.
All
There are
right.
gonna be detour signs put up and everything else. And
Okay.
I'll let the fire and police department know, like, you can get to this house on this side of it, and then this house you have to go around. You know what I mean? That way they
Okay.
have an address section of it.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that both departments were in the loop on that.
No, and Rochelle's already put it on the sign. We've been, for people can see Selnick Road will be put, I can't give really a date on Malloy because they're gonna button up Selnick first and then they'll move over to Malloy.
How many catch basins on Selnick?
Selnick is just we're gonna eliminate the 2 big culvert pipes and make 1 big box culvert, which will handle water better than the 2
Down by
culverts.
the dam?
That's getting all replaced.
So you're getting rid of 2 pipes for 1 big one.
1 big thing. It's actually gonna be, it's gonna be a box culvert. That's kind of what been a little bit of the holdup of the job, is the box culvert's being made. Well, it's supposed to be ready for Wednesday. So what they'll do is they'll come in and do all their prep work, tear the old pipes out, set the base, make the base for the thing, and then they'll come in and unload and set it right in.
How big of a pipe?
I forget, I don't have the size of the box culvert right off the top of my head, but
That's a good size
it's
pipe.
gonna be a good sized box culvert. I think it's 6 foot long, 4 foot high, 6x4. So it's gotta match the road. I mean, there's no sense of putting an 8x8 in where you gotta bury it 4 feet, and it's no good. So yeah, it's a pretty good box culvert. So, and then the pipes on Malloy, they're actually 82-inch concrete pipes going across there. They said actually that job will go faster than the box culvert.
Now what part of Malloy?
Malloy by Klein Road. We have that big culvert pipe
Oh, yeah.
through there. That kind of drains Scott's farm across
Right.
the down Klein Road. That pipe has been in pretty disarray, so we'll get that out. There's actually going to be guardrails put up there too on the one side, on the south side of the
So
road.
that'll help that flooding issue down there? Maybe?
I don't know. We really never had no flooding issues on the Malloy one. The pipe's big enough.
You're
It's just
talking the one on
deteriorated.
Oh, Kleinville. We're not talking Powder Mill. I'm thinking Powder Mill.
Yeah, powder mill now.
Okay.
The next thing I have for the board, I need board's approval for change order of the contract for the 2019 Brimfield Township Improvement Project for Carvo. The contract is they're gonna change the total amount, subtract $3,758.18 off the contract. I just need to have the change order for the contract change. It'll be less than what was first put out as on the contract.
You want to give me that amount again?
Good time to-
$3,758.18.
So you need a motion to change.
Yeah, to do the change order, and plus I need you guys to sign the bottom of this through the county.
And it is costing us an additional 3,000?
No, it's
Less.
less 3,000.
Okay, so they're giving us,
Yeah,
okay.
they're giving us money back.
So,
Christian, you got a good idea how to write their resolution? I'm a little confused.
so the resolution is, we'll make a motion to accept the change order for the 2019 Brimfield Township improvements, resulting in a reduction of cost by
That sounds
$3,758.
good. What's your
Do you
motion?
want to put
Yeah.
Carvo's name on that motion?
They didn't really tell me I had to put Carver's, just the improvement.
Just
Yeah.
the improvement, okay.
Okay, I'll second that. So you need the board to sign it or just one?
Yep, and the whole board.
Okay, roll call for approval?
Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes,
Sue.
Yes,
motion passed.
Okay, and second thing of business I have for the trustees is I'm requesting board approval for the OPWC for Howe Road culvert replacements project for next year in 2021. where we split the money 50-50 with the state.
Right.
The project itself has been estimated out right now for designs and all that for $399,922.50. On the back of my report is like a list of what we're looking at for the estimated cost stuff for the culvert pipe. I just need to get the board approved before we can keep the paperwork moving forward on this.
Yeah, I will make that motion that we apply for the OPWC grant for our road culvert.
I will second that. And so the total project is almost 400,000. If we get approved, we would pay 200,000.
Correct.
Okay.
And there's more to this actually than just culvert replacements. What we're gonna do is, we're gonna do some asphalt repairs on this project too, between Mogador Road and the Talmadge line. What they're gonna do is some full depth repairs and smooth some bad areas out. It won't get completely asphalted, just the intersections. There's actually 2 pipes we're gonna replace. The one that I brought to the board back in March, that was going bad. And then the pipe coming out of Lorraine, I'm sorry, I was getting 2 roads backwards. Lorraine, but we're gonna replace 2 catch basins, one on each side of the road going across Howe, plus the pipe coming across the Howe Road too at the same time. So there's quite a bit of stuff gonna happen right in that little area.
So that could help that subdivision?
It could help, because what it'll do, I hate to say this, but it'll get rid of the rigging somebody did with the pipe, the catch basin on the south side of Howe Road. So it'll help alleviate some of the issues, because we can't see under the road or pipe. But there's I've been in the catch basin on the south side, and the way they rig the pipes together into the catch basin ain't helping us none, but this should help us some.
Okay.
I ain't gonna say it's getting rid of the whole problem back there, but it'll help us some.
Right.
And so this would happen next year, right?
This would happen in 2021, yes.
And do we think that pipe's gonna hold out till then? Because I know that was one of the concerns, was a failure.
Right now, this pipe is kind of in the same shape as what, I hate to say, like what Malloy Road was.
Okay.
I'm monitoring it. If I see something starting to go right, we may have to, I hate to say it, drop anchor and go back and fix, but
Okay.
we're kind of expecting it to make it. I don't want to give nobody guarantees it's going to last 5 more.
Right, yeah, no, I get that, but I was just
right.
wondering if it was still looking stable at this point.
It's looking really, it hasn't changed in this whole summer, so.
Very good.
All right, so we had a motion and a second, roll call vote.
Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes,
Sue,
Yes.
all right,
Okay, and that concludes my report for today.
Thanks, Dave.
thank you. Next is gonna be Parks and Rec. Cassie, the floor is yours.
Hey, can everybody hear me okay today?
Yes, I just have to turn the TV up a little bit.
Sure. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I have a new microphone today. I'm testing it out.
Okay.
So hopefully it works. If not, I can just come in the room. But okay, my first item is Christmas. I know it's early to think about Christmas, but I'm thinking about it every day. So the first item will be our community Christmas drive-through. It's going to be similar to the drive and dine event, except we will not be going through the bays this time. We'll be exiting out onto Talmadge Road. And it's going to take place on the day that we normally have our tree lighting ceremony, which is always the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So it will be November 29th from 5 to 7 p.m. So I'm working on the details of that. We're asking our community groups to set up tables along the route and hand out crafts or treats. And then we're going to have some additional lighting and some other pieces to that I'm working on. I'm going to have flyers for that event going out at the Drive and Dine event on the 1st. Our next item is the Township Lighting Contest, which is also still in the works. I have a meeting later today with the Rootstown Chamber to possibly coordinate some sort of, I don't want to say competition between them, but that might be a possibility. So I'm going to discuss how they run their event, and maybe we can run them together. So I'm excited about that. And then I spoke with Meyer, and they helped sponsor our event last year, our Christmas tree lighting last year. And they said that they are willing to sponsor both of these events. So I'll be speaking with them about that, what that means for that. My next item is the Parks Advisory Committee. The application deadline was September 15th for that. I got 9 applications for that. I'm looking for 7 members. So I'm going to review those applications and I will present those to the board on our next meeting on October 7th for approval of those candidates. We had some really great applications, so I'm very excited for that. Item number 3, a Girl Scout troop, a field Girl Scout troop has requested to have a fall recruitment event at Cranberry Creek Park. Initially, they had wanted it at Lions Park, but with football and baseball, it wasn't going to work out for the day that they had wanted, so I suggested moving it to Cranberry Creek Park. On Saturday, October 24th from 12 to 4, they have assured me that they are going to take all the COVID safety precautions. Everyone will be wearing masks, and they're going to have staggered start times. So they're going to set up stations and have different families, groups of families, attend each station and get information about Girl Scouts. So I just wanted to bring that to the board's attention. My next item is a baseball field proposal from a member of the Brimfield Athletic Association that has been using the field this season. They are requesting that we add an additional 10 to 15 feet of infield to the existing field for the 80-foot base path line to allow teams over 12U to play on the 80-foot baseline. Their concern is that kids rounding the bases here, the older kids that would be using that baseline, if they're rounding the bases, they're hitting the grass. And also if ground balls roll onto the grass, you know, it stops the grass and kind of interferes with the play. So I've contacted Lewis Landscaping, the company that has done our field work for that, to get a quote for that. So I will bring that to the board hopefully by the next meeting. And then my last item is that I will be out of the office starting tomorrow and returning on October 5th. If you have any questions while I'm gone, you can call or email me. But
Could you give us a trick or treat for this month for Halloween?
10:31.
I'm sorry, what did you ask me? I didn't hear you.
For our trick or treat, would you just review what we're going to do for a trick or treat this year?
Yeah, yeah, we have gotten a lot of questions about that, and I did add it to our website. So trick or treat is going to be Saturday, October 31st, so actually on Halloween, from 5 to 7 p.m.
Thank you.
All right, the only other thing we had under Parks and Rec, wanted to talk about, and this is both for Cassie and Dave. We would like to try to get that fencing done around the playground equipment over at Lions Park on that drive coming in. So Dave, I didn't know if this could be a side project for your guys when we're short-staffed, or once it, you know, the grass stops growing, right? Setting some posts, you know, taking a day or two and digging and setting posts through there, and looking at what type of fencing that would be. I mean, I'm up for options here. I don't want a chain link fence. I think that's just going to look tacky, but
It's gotta look good. It's
yeah,
gotta look inviting.
so we got to do, you know, either a split rail fence, or I was even thinking if we just did 4x4s and then did that thick rope and did 3 layers of it. You know what I mean? To stop people coming
With the
through.
rope, I'm afraid you're just gonna have kids swinging on the rope.
But if you did 3 of them, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Instead
what
of
if
just
What
one.
if we look into some vinyl siding fence or something?
Well, but you want to be able to see through it. You know what I mean?
I just know how ropes are. My kids would be swinging on them.
I
Well,
just,
they have that vinyl siding, it looks like rails. You know, it's white. It's white, and it's got like three things on it. Maybe Lowe's would donate it to us.
Oh, we gotta buy something.
yeah.
But the big question is, I mean, if the road department doesn't have the time, is that something we could contract out? Because you'd have to get an okay from the union.
I'd have to check into it, because like right now, I know I'm swamped. We're trying to get things buttoned up and get ready for winter. I mean, it's coming.
I think it'd be
So,
better if we call a fence company and get it put in and be done with it.
Right. Because the idea is we'd want to run it so cars could pull up to it, basically, so they could have off the side parking there.
I just want to make it look more inviting.
Right.
You know, I looked at it and I don't even know if we take some of the trees down to the right of it, you know, just make it look more inviting. I just want it to be part of the park.
well, there's gonna be some more trees removed when we get a chance. There's some dead ash ones in there. And that
I just thought, you know, we open it up because, like, you know, with Nick's idea about the trail.
Right.
I mean, you know, everyone says, well, it's not working, people don't like it. I think that's BS. We make it inviting.
I think, well, we had
And
a
then we'll
few naysayers about it, but we've had a lot of people down there using that
So,
equipment
so
too.
let's make it into something that people will use.
Right.
And that starts by getting the fence done. And so if you wouldn't mind, check with your guys, if we can contract it out and get the thing done, because the money you had set aside for that additional piece isn't gonna be spent.
Well, we had set aside money for that piece and another piece in the fence this year.
Right, so
And we
let's
never
get it
did
done.
that. So
So,
I don't, Cassie, I think if we could at least get that buttoned up this year, that gets that fenced off, then we can add on to it next year. But at least if we get that done before the end of the year.
so if we can maybe get
Yep.
stuff put together, I know you're gonna be down and out, but something together by possibly the next meeting. I can make phone calls if you want or whatever.
Sure.
Anything I can do just to push it along.
Right.
So could you let us know
I'll ask
what they
today.
say?
Yeah, I'll ask them today.
Okay.
I mean, I'll just see what they say. I mean, because like I said, right now I got plenty of asphalt and ditch and berm and
Oh, I know.
I got stuff I wanna,
Yeah, I know you guys are buried. That's why I said I didn't know if, once we hit winter, if it slows
I
down.
know, I was
at all, or-
hoping you're gonna possibly get another part-timer just through the end of the year to get some help with some of the stuff. But,
the part-timer mainly what we discussed before was come in and do some traffic control with things. I don't know if we're gonna get to that project this year, which I really don't like the idea of not getting to it, but
what I'm hearing is he's gonna need another guy to help working sometime,
Right.
another full-timer sometime. You're just falling behind on so many things, and not your fault, but just.
There's just a lot of projects.
well, that's
so
what I'm saying. I
much
mean, I hate to
stuff
say it, I think I get 3 steps ahead and I fall 10 steps behind.
Yep.
I
Right.
mean, it does also, we get, finally my list of talking to people finally gets down, wow, I finally talked to the last one, and then Michelle hands me a list with 12 more people. So we like I said, it's a constant war with it,
So
so.
look at the amount of citizens coming into the town, new residents and roads and stuff.
Right.
Cassie, how do you feel about putting that fence up through there? Do you think that'll help set that off and make it a more inviting place for people?
Yeah, I think so. And then it can maybe provide some curb appeal right there too, because I agree we need a little more, needs to be more inviting there, so.
Maybe we need to let Cassie tell us what kind of fence she wants.
Yeah, I don't care what type of fence we want, just pick a fence.
Yeah, Cassie,
you know what I
that's
mean?
her.
Sure.
I just don't
Yeah,
want to see a
let's do
chain
some
link
shopping.
fence. I think that,
Oh, amen.
yeah, chain link fence just looks, I know they're safer,
Yeah.
but
Looks like
Agreed.
something shameless.
great show.
Oh, it is a good shot.
All right, so we'll work on that for our upcoming meeting. Dave, if you can get with Cassie, let her know if it's something that we're gonna have to outsource, if we're gonna do internally, and then we can start looking for options.
Okay, so Craig, make sure that's on there, so one of us remembers that it'll be on the next meeting. So we can talk about this, just keep it going.
All right, anything else for Parks and Rec?
Nope, that's all.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. Cemetery, we had 7 deeds to sign. Those have been signed and turned in. Fiscal office, any report from fiscal office?
Nope.
All right, and no executive sessions today. So I'll open this up for the good of the order. Any questions, comments, anything for Gary Brimfield?
You guys are doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, department heads, you guys are doing great. I'm very proud of where we've gotten. This has been a busy year, so.
We really have accomplished a lot this year.
Yeah, especially with COVID, we've
Really
been
have.
juggling a lot, so.
And
Couldn't
it's
have done
not
it.
slowing down.
Yeah. All the
Next year's just gonna be
department
even
heads have been
busier.
just swamped.
I will say I'm going to email this out to everyone. It has been a few months since we took a look at our goals. I think at our October 7th meeting, we should take a look at that goal spreadsheet again, give an update of where everybody is for their 2020 goals,
Mhm.
and make sure we're on track for January 1 to make sure we can accomplish those. And if we're off track with them, what do we need to get you so that we can get it done? All right. All right, sounds good. Motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will make that motion.
Second,
All right, roll call.
Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes,
Sue.
yes.
meeting closed at 9:09. Everyone have a great day.